Okay, so Whitney, congrats on this new season. You're exploring so many new avenues of life, I feel
Mhm.
like. Talk to me a bit about your journey to have a child and why now is the time for this potential new chapter for you.
Right. Well, this is season 13. So if people have been with me from the beginning, motherhood has always been a decision that I've thought about, that I've wanted, that I've explored different options. I explored adoption, I got my eggs frozen. It's something that's always been really on the forefront of my mind. And I think now, people say, like, oh, what was the moment that made you realize you wanted to do artificial insemination? And I can't really pinpoint one moment, but I do think that um my age just really, I just thought, wow, okay, I'm almost 41 and I am 41 now, and I just really don't have a lot of time, and I need to honestly, like, decide what I want and just make it happen. Unfortunately, motherhood is often something that involves another person. But if you don't have the luxury of having a partner to have a child with, there is another option. And I'm actually shocked at how many people and viewers have reached out to me to tell me about their artificial insemination journey. I didn't even realize it was as common as it is. I think a lot of women maybe feel a certain level of shame around it, and I know I definitely did. I think infertility in general is obviously a really big subject that makes women feel bad, and society makes women feel bad about it. And then on top of that, kind of the idea of a woman taking it into her own hands and like doing it without a man and all this kind of stuff, like, it's kind of a hot topic and people have a lot to say about it. So I feel like we don't talk about it enough, and so I'm really grateful to be able to put that journey on television, and hopefully people can see themselves reflected in that and find comfort and support the way that I have.
I do feel like it's definitely not talked about enough, especially this avenue of how a way to have a child. I feel like I don't see a lot of representation of
Hmm.
that, especially in media. So I
Right.
applaud you for sharing this journey because I feel like it probably connects you with a lot of fans who are going through a similar situation as you.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I just couldn't believe, like, although this has really been a common theme, I think, throughout my career, like things that I've kind of opened up and been vulnerable about and felt very, pretty alone about. I've always been shocked at the response and the way that people, then it kind of gives them permission to feel okay about their choices and open about their choices and then wanting to make that connection. And for me, I think, 13 seasons later, if someone asked me what is the biggest benefit of reality television, I would say that it's realizing you're not alone, and that you can kind of be a mirror for people, and people can find so much connection and support, especially in a journey like this that can be very difficult. It's really a perk for me, and I think, yeah, for the viewers as well.
And I know you were talking about some of the difficult aspects of this. We saw how disappointed you were last episode when you
Mm.
found out that you weren't expecting. I'm so sorry about that. Why did you want to share all aspects of this journey?
Well, if I'm being totally honest, it's in my contract. I have to. Um, but thank goodness that it is, because, sometimes there are things I go through in life that maybe I would say, oh, I'd rather keep this to myself, but that's and that's okay. Most people aren't reality TV stars, but I am. So this is what I signed up for. And like I said, ultimately, would I have wanted to go through that disappointment alone, or would I have wanted to go through that disappointment and then had hundreds and hundreds of people reach out to me with their own stories and their stories of success and their encouragement? That's better, and that's the encouragement and support that I've received. So it was extremely disappointing for me, that first go round. I think I almost just naively felt like, well, this is the first time I've tried. So, like, really, like, intentionally tried. So it's just going to happen. And, obviously it didn't, but I can say, without giving, any spoilers, I can say that the motherhood journey is far from over. And I'm really excited about the direction, that it's going. That's what I can say.
Well, I'm wishing you positive vibes. I hope everything works out the way that you're hoping for.
Thank
Um,
you.
we also saw that your father, he actually he was a bit he was actually he like made a turnaround. I feel like he was a little bit hesitant,
Yeah.
but then he was really excited and actually disappointed when he found out
I know.
you weren't expecting. Were you surprised by how he made this whole like kind of 180?
Yeah, I was. The thing that I'm very lucky for is that both my mother, she's gone now, but my mom and my dad, always just wanted me to be happy. And my brother. I mean, they are truly, the epitome of like good parents. They really just want us to be happy. And so though to know that it was also affecting his happiness, I've always wanted my dad's approval, and probably in a lot of ways still, even at this age, kind of covertly get his permission or his approval, of my life. And it means something to me because I respect my father so much. He's the best man that I know. He's got more integrity than anyone I know. He's loved me more than anyone I know, and I trust him more than anyone I know. So to know that he, really wanted to go through that grandfather journey with me, even though, luckily he is already a granddad and a great granddad with my half sister's family. But I know he still wants that for me, and he probably wants that for my brother as well. And that made it extra hard. And in fact, I just realized I don't think that this aired, but in the scene where I was kind of going through, or wait, has it not aired at all? It was in the preview. I don't remember. I can say this, it's not a spoiler, but I was going through things, baby things, my baby things. And my mother actually had written on one of the boxes, Whitney, your daughter can wear these, and if she doesn't like them, just put them on her dollies. And I thought about my mother, you know, probably 35 years ago, boxing this stuff up and thinking that far into the future, and leaving me a note for me to see this far into the future, and realizing like, oh my gosh, like my mom just always thought that would be my future, and she envisioned it. And it doesn't feel like pressure, it just feels like, I mean, it is kind of like not a great feeling because you don't want to let anyone else down as well, but I don't consider it to be like a bad pressure feeling. It's just kind of feels, there's just more weight to it,
Mhm.
um and having taken care of my mother, in the last year of her life, and really every year that I've been alive, let's be real. But having taken care of her and loved her, and I tried so hard to make sure that her life was exactly like she wanted it, that she had the opportunity to see, do, know everything that she wanted before she died. And even though my dad is healthy, I still feel that towards him. And knowing that he really wants me to have a child definitely encouraged me to keep trying and going down this path. Because it feels like it's not just for me, but it's also for him.
Well, I definitely feel like your family bond is evident. I feel like that's one of my favorite things as a
Mhm.
viewer to see is like just how loving your whole family is,
Yeah.
how supportive you all are of each other. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like it's so special to see. Um, Kind of taking a pivot, but I also have to ask. So last
Mm.
episode you did go on a blind date. Um,
Mhm.
Speaking of dating, are you still looking for love now?
Yeah, girl, we're still out we're still out here, we're still looking, but Um, I mean, I do feel like I was multitasking, and I still am multitasking because, like, I don't care. I don't have time to waste. I don't care. We're gonna keep going down both of these paths, and one of them's gonna stick. However, I do think that I've gained a lot of. I don't know. I feel like I've always been a very confident person, but I feel like the older I've gotten, I've even gained more confidence. And taking this motherhood journey into my own hands, while it felt scary, it gave me a lot of confidence as well. And I think for the first time in a long time, dating is really kind of on the back burner for me.
Mhm.
Um, if a man wants to come along, he can. But the realization of like, oh, I didn't need the actual man. I mean, I needed the genetic material, but I didn't need the man. You know what I mean? For the
Mhm.
motherhood. It's just kind of like, I don't know, when you get so involved in becoming a mother, romance seems a little bit less important. I have other things that I'm focusing on now.
If you were to like wave a magic wand and conjure up your dream partner, what aspects are you looking for though in a relationship or in a
Mhm,
potential match?
mhm. Yeah, I think obviously I've had a lot of experience with men. I've had a lot of boyfriends, not necessarily they've been on television, but I've been in a lot of relationships. And I think it's pretty, I don't know, I think it's pretty simple for me. I need a man who is ambitious, motivated, intelligent, and a man that will, when I say take care of me, I don't mean financially, I just mean a man that can emotionally protect, an emotionally intelligent man who can protect me, who can make me feel um loved and comforted. And I just really, if when I look back at my relationships, I have just done so much of the legwork for almost every man I've ever been with, and I'm never doing that again. So I think that's why, sometimes my friends say that I'm picky or whatever, but I've already dealt with so much bullshit in life. I'm just not doing
I
it
don't think
anymore.
you're picky. It's called having standards. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think you're picky at all. Like, they're like, this is the person you want to be with you for your life. Like, you're
yeah.
allowed to like want who you want.
Right.
You know what I
I
mean?
always
Like,
make a
I think
joke. I mean, and it probably doesn't land anymore because now nobody calls to order pizza. It's like you have an app. But back in the day, it's like I was dating men who like couldn't call the pizza guy. It's just like, God, do I have to do everything? And I love being independent. I love being able to take care of myself financially and otherwise. And that's not something that I would want to go away. I just need a man that can hold his own and also a man that, if I need to like crash out and need support, to know that someone would be there for me instead of kind of me feeling like I'm pulling all the weight. Um, that's not a fat joke, but I guess, like I just really feel like I've typically kind of done enough for me and the man. And I'm ready to just be met where I am by an equal.
we
That's
need
what I
someone
want. I just want an equal man, an equal partner. Yeah.
we need someone who puts in the effort. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing that's shown on the series, we're also see your friendship with all of your friends.
Mhm.
But we have seen a little bit of friction between Tal
Yeah.
and Ashley, and now
Mhm.
Tal and Buddy. Were you
Mhm.
surprised at the issues that he's having with some of your friends?
No, no, not at all. This is probably a moment that I would also think to remind. I mean, this is a television show about me, so that's why everything is usually centered around me. But there are lots of things, we've all been friends for like 20 years. So there have been lots of conflicts, lots of things. There's a whole history that, viewers don't really get to see anything about. So I was actually really happy that they were willing to kind of open up more about their issues, instead of everything kind of being focused on me all the time. And also I kind of think as a viewer that might be a little bit boring if like everything's always about, centering about me. But this is not the first time that anyone in our friend group has had an argument or a fight. It might be the first time that viewers are really seeing it. But being that it's my real life and I know the history of everything and I know all the details of everything, no, I'm not surprised at all. And I have my own feelings about all of it, and I love my friends, and that's just all I'll say, I guess. Yeah.
Do you think that there's hope that they can mend things? I know that Buddy said that he was willing to meet with Tal, and it seemed like maybe Tal and Ashley might meet each
Mm,
other. I don't know if there's any
right.
potential for any of these friendships to reconcile.
Yeah, there's potential. But there definitely is like a meeting between. I'll say one of the friendships I think is reconcilable, and the other one is not. And you'll see why
Okay.
coming
Okay,
up.
we'll have to tune in and see what
Yeah.
happens the rest of the season.
Hmm.
I also wanted to ask about dance. This has always been an integral part, I feel like, of your life,
Hmm.
your self-expression. Could you talk about why that's so special to you? I know you've been posting a lot about a dance studio that is in
Yeah.
London and
Mhm.
your experience there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pineapple Dance Studios is iconic in the dance world. It's huge. And I actually just got off the phone with the owner, Debbie. She's just taken her like sabbatical in the French Riviera and she's, showing me all of her plants and the turtle doves and all this, and I'm insanely jealous. But I have really made kind of a family connection there at Pineapple Dance Studios, and it's so lovely because I've been twice now. And it's just great to have an outlet, right, to teach dance, which is what I love. And I've been teaching dance since I was a teenager. Um, and I kind of fell out of it during, the pandemic because everything was closed and it had been a while since I like really kind of came back to life, I think, in a lot of ways, honestly, like re-entered life the way that it is. So it's given me a lot of inspiration and it's also given me a lot of validation, because this is one of the most iconic dance studios in the world. And I have like a home there and a family there and they love me there and I have all these students that show up for my classes and it's just like wow, I never would have thought. I could believe like, oh yeah, I'll be teaching dance, but not at Pineapple. It's a pretty cool thing. So it's definitely a big part of my life, and I'm really happy to be like full force back into it.
I'm so happy that you're so happy. I love seeing people like explore their passions and like you can tell when somebody's like really into something and that's
Yeah,
so fun to watch, I feel like as a viewer.
yeah.
Looking forward to this next chapter of your life. What are you hoping for in this new era?
Well, I don't want to say too much, but I'm kind of past the point of hoping. Life has moved forward in some very exciting ways. The journeys, I guess, of motherhood and moving and all that kind of stuff that we're seeing during the season, they're far, far from over. They are still moving forward in ways that I am so super excited about, and that's all I'll say. But I see people speculate a lot and speculate a lot online about, oh well, I guess she's not pregnant, or like I guess she didn't move or whatever. And I would just remind people that you really can't glean a whole lot from an Instagram post. And life is uh, exactly where I want it to be.
That's amazing. I love to
Mhm.
hear that.
Yeah.
And then the last question, can you describe the rest of the season of the show in 3 words?
Drama,
Okay.
drama, sisterhood, and excitement.